Hello everyone and welcome to this week's game devlog on the Stars Our Destination, a turn-based strategy flight game. To make up for last week's lackluster update, I gave myself a lot more tasks this week. Let's get into it. This was long overdue. Well, I say that, but I actually had it hidden deep in commenting code weeks ago due to whatever priorities I had at the time. I had to get rid of the terrain and make the mountains separate objects to make it easier on the code. Currently, the ship doesn't take damage, though the code for that does exist. But it does tell the battle user interface script to flash red when the ship is hit. That's step one, though. Just flashing red wouldn't sell that the player has taken a hit head on. So camera shake it. Now it really looks like it hurts. The last step, for now anyway, was adding a knockback. This was a tricky thing to implement. Going back to Star Fox 64, take a drink. It doesn't knock back the player in the traditional sense since the vehicle is always moving. It adjusts the Y position mostly. I made a few float variables for the timer and timer limit. Initially it was instantaneous, but it makes it a little jarring when the ship needed to be readjusted. So I just made another float variable that increases or decreases to make the transition much smoother, and only for the Y positioning. So now the player ship has a good knockback that can be polished whenever I need to. Another big part of Star Fox 64 is the wings. I already had it so that the ship will descend regardless of player control if they lost a wing, but I had to make it apparent that the wing was taking damage or that the ship was struggling to still fly aside from a little wobble. This time I made it fly diagonally when losing either wing. If the player loses both, it'll reorient it and it will just be the wobble to show the uneasiness. The big problem I had with the camera was when the ship was boosting, it was way too far. This was because when I was refactoring everything a few weeks ago to get the U-turn and somersault working. Long story short, the camera lerps to the ship, so I just increased the follow speed and it zooms back enough, at least for me. Let me know what you think. In the last devlog, the ship deflected bullets when it was stationary for testing reasons. The best course of action, at least to me, was to make some stationary spawners with some gizmos to make them visible, then just fly straight into them. It didn't feel great till I lowered the barrel roll timer limit variable, which determines when the player can barrel roll again. Now it feels great, again, at least to me. Going to be getting some outside feedback soon. And lastly, making the bullet more visually distinct. Of course, none of the visuals are official. I just needed something to break up the gray monotony in my scene. Keeping a house clean is a habit, and it's the same with software architecture. I mostly just cleaned up all the easy to-dos and adding tooltips to the scriptable objects. I can't keep a house clean, so I do the software thing instead. Next on the list is to get an enemy AI working, so that it'll fly, have its own flight path, follow the player, attack and all that, along with some other tasks I have planned for a minimal testing demo with a beginning, middle, and end. Once I have that demo, test it a bit, I'll probably upload it so I can get some more outside feedback. Tell me what you think about that prospect. That'll be it for this week. Subscribe if you like what I'm doing, and feel free to join the Discord server. Let me know if you have any questions or feedback. Take care of yourselves and have a good week.